It's 12:03 on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and you're tuned in to the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. Don't forget, we have our socials. You can send us a message on our WhatsApp 061 766 0355, or you can catch us on Twitter at Salam Media, or on Facebook, facebook.com/Salam Media. So we're back, and it is time for our Islamic Careline. We have Shuhaida Adams with us. Assalamu alaikum, Shuhaida. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Fazila?
I'm well, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. It's a very intense topic that we're talking about, so I just
Yeah.
want to prepare everyone all that it's today. It's not a very light topic, so it's not going to be a very easy topic for us to talk about, but inshallah we will have to get through it.
I mean, it's definitely something that we need to speak on because we have found that there's such a huge increase in cancer cases, especially when it comes to children. So, speaking on the effects that this has on the families, it's pertinent. It's a conversation that has to be had. So I'll leave it to you.
No, definitely. And the reason why I chose this topic also is because September is International Childhood Cancer Awareness Month throughout the world. So your health departments, your cancer organizations, your family support organizations globally, they are focusing on just creating awareness in communities, creating awareness in the broader society. And in South Africa, I think the theme this month is to make the world gold, because gold is the awareness color of childhood cancers. So I thought it's a very important topic we can start our September with. And recently, there's been some rather depressing sort of news that has come in South Africa, an appraisal of the South Africa health system, where it found that a lot of children, um, there would be a higher survival rate if they had access to resources. So this, I hope, is just going to, the show can maybe motivate people who are experiencing childhood cancers, the families that are experiencing it, to perhaps look at what types of support systems and what other types of resources they can access to help them through this. Okay, so in the beginning, of course, when we look at children, research shows that children are not supposed to have cancer at all. It's an anomaly. Children should not be having it. It's not one of the common cancers. So children, when they do have cancer, it is a very difficult experience, and it's a very intense experience. And as a family, you will be going through this journey with the child. So whether it is your own child, or whether it's your brother or sister, whether it's a grandchild within the family, it's a journey that you're going to be a part of, and not just as the family, but also as an educator, as a madrasa teacher, as a friend, your children's friends. If your child's friend has cancer, you as the friend's parent will also be a part of this journey, and you do have a little role to play in how we as a community can make this experience as comforting as possible for the child who's going through it and for the family. So everybody has a role to play in through the child's diagnosis, through the treatments. Let's look a little bit at the beginning of usually what happens when a diagnosis is made. So unfortunately, also in South Africa, because of quite a lot of unequal access to healthcare, often find that children in rural areas, they tend to get diagnosed later. Family, perhaps the parents or the caregivers that they are living with, they they sort of believe the symptoms to be belonging to another illness, or even the healthcare providers, they may first rule out other illnesses before they look at cancer. So sometimes when the diagnosis comes, it's a little bit, the child's condition is now quite advanced. However, there is treatments available, the treatment options. The family will then be presented with treatment options. They will then be attached to a healthcare provider. So either, the oncology ward, the pediatric oncology ward, where the child will be receiving their treatment. They'll receive doctors who are hopefully going to be staying with this child through the duration of the treatment. And whatever other support services are available at that hospital, or whatever other support services the family can access. So I'll speak a little bit about other support services towards the end. Usually what happens, what families usually experience, especially as the parents, is absolute numbness, absolute devastation, there's absolute shock. Oftentimes there's a tendency towards disbelieving the diagnosis. You'll find then what parents do is they perhaps want to get another opinion. They want further testing done. They would like, they will maybe speak to doctors who are in their family, or other doctors who are friends that they are friends with. They will try to get as much information as possible. But when everything points to the presence of cancer, then there can be a whole host of other emotions that come through, especially fear, anger, pain on the parent side. Some parents often feel guilty. They may believe that there's something genetic that they have passed on to their child. However, it's important for parents to remember that childhood cancers, they can come out of nowhere. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's genetically passed down from parent to child. It can come, no other person in the family could have this cancer and your child can be diagnosed. It's not anyone's fault. Okay. So, of course, the big impact on the rest of the family. The family will now have to look at what treatment options are there for the child. Oftentimes, if it's a bit advanced, then families find that they are immediately thrown into the whole system. They are thrown into the treatment. Child will have to maybe go immediately stay over in a hospital. And if it's our children in our rural areas where they don't have a main hospital in the locality, the family will have to travel. So the child will be sent to in a different town or perhaps the city, and it's just very scary for everyone involved. Parents will of course be worried about what their child is going through, and every parent would want to be there for the duration of the treatment. However, with the reality of life and responsibilities, some parents are not able to be there for the treatment and to be there for their child. So the child who's diagnosed is also experiencing so much that they are going through, dealing with the diagnosis, then their own feelings, their body, how they're feeling through the duration of the treatment. Cancer treatments can be quite strong, so their body will react to it. They will have side effects, especially immediately after treatment. So the treatment, it depends on what treatment the child is going for, but quite a few of them happen in different stages. So there can be different sicknesses associated with the different stages. Your younger children, babies are even diagnosed with cancer. So of course they're not really able to express what they're feeling, so they can't the parent. So what you find also, the child will then be going through a host of psychosocial effects as well. I won't go into the effects because this is of course more on the medical side. However, when children who are diagnosed, they will experience perhaps extreme behavior changes. They may be acting out. They experience stress, trauma, and after the treatments, you might find that they are experiencing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The impact of what they have gone through stays with them even after the treatment and when they are back home. You'll also find this child may experience extreme fear and anger towards whoever they can take it out of. There may be crisis of faith. It's one of the most demanding, one of the most testing times through anyone's faith, whichever faith you belong to. So there may be a crisis of faith. The child may be angry at the creator. The child may be angry at everyone who wants to try and comfort them, especially your older children who have a greater understanding of what this illness is about, what cancer is. They may experience also a lot more despondency and depression around the diagnosis. There can be loneliness on the child's part, also a sense of disconnect from their friends, because now they are feeling very different to the friends that they have in school or at home, or their their cousins, their family members. So there's a sense of isolation and loneliness on the child's part. There's a sense of fear. There's a sense sometimes of guilt, because they can see also the effect that their illness is having on the rest of their family. And there's a sense of guilt also that because my illness is impacting the family, it's perhaps costing a lot of money to meet the needs of whatever the illness, of whatever is going to be required for the child right now. So there can be a sense of guilt. Older children can fall into a deep depression. Your children who go to school, there'll be gaps in their knowledge. So they will not be able to attend school for obvious reasons. They're not feeling well, or they are gone away for treatment. So they will be academically, they will be falling behind. Ideally, of course, we would like to encourage families to help the child keep up with school, but in practice, be possible. Even if you bring them the work, if you bring them the homework or whatever the case is, but they are just not well enough to be able to go through their work. Or else they may not even want to bother with school because they're feeling very despondent around what they're going through. Then as a family, so with the parents can of course be feeling the fear, the trauma, the difficulty around it. Some parents, they do as much research as possible. What medical practitioners have advised is for parents not to do too much research online, not to Google too much about it, because every child's experience is different. So the child may have the exact same type of cancer as another child, that their experience of it and how their body responds to the same type of treatment another child goes through, that it can cause emotional difficulty for the parents as well. Oftentimes we find that where the parents are living together, there may be a strain on the marriage also. The parents may find that they're arguing with each other quite a bit, or one parent copes and is able to deal with the diagnosis more strongly than the other parent, and they may resent their partner for not being as supportive as they would have liked. You also find sometimes that one parent takes on the full responsibility of the child's treatment. So, liaising with the doctors, going and taking the child for their appointments, doing the checkups, and you may find one does that. The other parent is carrying on with work, running the home, etc., providing. So there is a gap between the parent because one parent becomes very much involved and enveloped by the child, and then the other parent starts feeling that they are not very much a part of it. They don't feel too connected with it. So that can also impact the marital relationship. And then what we have to look out for also is the other siblings in the home. So one child that is diagnosed, the other children who are at home who are not diagnosed, it can have a tremendous impact on them as well. So how they experience their siblings' diagnosis, siblings' treatment as well.
Shuhaida, I think we lost you a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to a short break and we'll try and sort out these technical issues once we get back. Let's just take a quick ad break.
Diagnosed, they are.
Shuhaida, are you able to
Yes, I
hear
can
me
hear
better
you.
now?
Am I back?
Yeah, there was a bit
Yes.
of a lag there, but it's fine. We're just going to take a quick ad break and we'll be right back and we'll continue to unpack these challenges. Shuhaida, can you pick your camera or lower it a little bit because the top there's a lot of wall showing.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be fine. Let me just see it on the big screen. Yeah, because there's just a lot of wall showing on the top, and not enough of you. There was a bit of a
Yeah.
lag. It was pulling, and then the network just went. So we'll just continue after the break, though.
Okay, I'm so sorry. It's
No,
our
no worries.
Wi-Fi.
No, no, no worries.
Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Give charity without delay, for it stands in the way of calamities. For child-headed households in Bloemendal in the Eastern Cape, the daily diet consists of white bread and a carton of cheap juice or sugar water, known locally as the poppy water diet. Make a difference to that one child or family. The Al Fida Foundation has over the past 13 years worked on the ground and gathered the largest database in the Eastern Cape region of Muslim zakah recipients. Phone our offices at 041 484 1288 or visit our website at www.alfida.co.za. The Al Fida Foundation, your social investment partner in the Eastern Cape.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
The time has just reached 12:20, and you're watching the Mid-Morning Talk with me, Fazila Isaac. On air, we have Shuhaida Adam of Islamic Careline speaking on the effects on families affected by childhood cancer. Now, Shuhaida, you did touch on the children. You know, one child feeling also getting the effects. Someone else is affected, and the other one is affected. You know, by this cancer in the family. Talk to us about this.
Okay, so siblings of a child who has been diagnosed, like I said earlier in the meeting, they are also very much of the to healing. They may experience rashes, also they may be given extra responsibilities at home. They may also even be left alone. Older siblings will be expected to look after their younger siblings or look after the home while the parent is focused on the treatment and has to take their child to treatment, especially the treatment center and the oncology unit is not within the locality, it's in the big out in the bigger city. There's some complicated emotions that I'm hoping we can I can explain it in the right way. Some siblings may actually feel jealousy towards the child that is sick. And they feel this jealousy because this child that's sick is getting more attention, is getting more sort of leeway, oftentimes because the child is sick, it's more spoilt by other family members, or they're allowed to get away with certain things because of how ill they are. So the other siblings, they are watching this. However, please understand that it's not from a center of malice. It's not coming out of malice and difficulty towards the sibling. That jealousy is because the siblings are feeling neglected. They are feeling left out. They are feeling that they are not as important in the family anymore. And that jealousy can also lead towards anger towards the diagnosed sibling. They may be angry that the family is now consumed with the diagnosed sibling. They may be angry financially also that a lot of resources have to go to this child. Angry that the child is diagnosed, is sick and is constantly sick. And when they come home from treatment, the child maybe can't do anything because they're so sick. They're laying in bed. They may be in a lot of pain, so they are crying. They may be etc. So may be angry at this child. They may feel guilt also towards or they and now this child is diagnosed, so the other siblings may small baby, but the childhood relation also. So they also give your attention to caught up in the child's treatment. Look for the support that you can get.
Shahida? Okay, I think we lost Shuhaida. There has been a bit of technical issues with the network because of, the load shedding and all of these things. But Shuhaida did touch on, while we still get her back, she did touch on quite a few things. When it comes to our diagnosis, we must remember that it does have a devastating effect on the family. It is not something that is easy for the family to go through. And this is because of the life-threatening nature of having a cancer diagnosis. So this actually requires a major, major shift. And this is in the lifestyle and even in the psychological reality of these things that goes on in the family. Shuhaida did also speak about the effects that it has on the children. One child, it's not out of malice that this child is acting up because of the sick sibling, but it's because the sick sibling is, of course, going to get a little bit more attention because then there's parent guilt where the parent feels a certain way. They want to do everything in their power to make sure that that child is taken care of and that child is getting everything that they require. So I think it will take a lot of patience. It takes a lot of strategies that the family needs to work on and put into place together in order for them to now find ways to deal with, firstly, the pain of having a child who might not survive the sickness. And we know that this comes with a lot of treatment. They're going to go for chemotherapy, and we know that's not the best of things, especially for children. So it comes with a lot of patience. It comes with having to speak to your family, communicate with each other, seek other places where you can get counseling, seek support groups that you can speak to people on. When parents do get involved in the care of a child, especially children that have cancer, there's positive and there's also negative changes in these relationships. There's changes in the communication, stress, and the roles that they all play as well. So we have Shuhaida back. Um, Shuhaida, I just want to ask, how can these challenges be overcome? How can the family develop healthy adjustment strategies in order for them to deal with all of these challenges of having a child with cancer in the home?
Okay, so the first thing I can say is look to your support, and that's practical support. So the family members who can assist you maybe with looking after your other children, who can help with the cooking, the cleaning, the meals, the practical support, who can assist with transport. Okay, that makes a world of a difference. And oftentimes we don't want to burden our other family members, but just realize also that the impact of the treatment is very intense. You will need that extra help. Inshallah, it will make a great difference. And when you have that extra help, it sort of lessens the stress. And stress is what, of course, we struggle to cope with the stress around what we're going through. So first of all, look for the support. Then look at sort of what type of counseling support can you get. You may want to put your siblings or you yourself as the parent, you may want to access counseling support. In South Africa, we have the Truck Foundation. They are a wonderful organization, and they also provide psychosocial support just to help with when everything becomes too much for you. They are able to assist and provide you that outlet for venting, etc., helping cope with emotions. You can do the different types of therapies can help. What's also I think what people have found is very effective with the families of cancer is group therapy. For the child who's diagnosed, so being in a therapeutic circle of other children who have whatever different types of cancers, and then the sibling support also. So there's groups available for them, and for the parents, there's groups available for them as well. So look to your group supports. I can recommend counseling, individual counseling, and family support. And of course, recognizing also that
Okay, I think we lost Shuhaida again, but it's fine. We like you've heard from her. There's many support groups, like we were both saying, that you can go to lean on people who are closer to you, lean on people who can assist you with these things as well. That was Shuhaida Adam from Islamic Careline speaking to us on the effects that having a child with cancer has on the family. So we're going to again take a break. We got to pay the bills. And when we come back, we will be speaking to Shamshad Sayed, and she will be giving us some information on the South African National Muslim Women's Forum's 8th Sisters and Youth Empowerment Conference. We're going to be hearing about their lineup and everything that is happening for that particular event. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.